and welcome to the Talkin Bits podcast. I realized I didn't put my fucking arms down from the weird clap that I just did. So, what's up, video? That's how we sync it.
Halfway through.
I am your host, Michael Rose, and with me is the other host.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Nathaniel. What's up, guys? They know. They know me. I think after last week, they're pretty glad to hear my voice. Michael pressed record this week, so that's good. That's a step up from last week.
I'm choosing to be nice to him because I can't continue to be mean to you and then fuck up like I did last week.
That's true.
So
that is true. It's not a good look for sure. It's not good. No. So today we have an interesting episode. We're doing a double round of episodes this morning. So in the next video, we'll be wearing the same clothes. It's not because we're dirty. We are, but that's not why.
I am dirty.
I am as well.
Yeah, we're all dirty.
Yeah.
We're very dirty. But no, we're doing back to back because we have some excellent friends of ours up from Knoxville.
Yeah.
So with us first today is Mr. Gerard Donnel. What's up,
Gerard
buddy?
Butler.
What's up,
Mr. Gerard Butler?
Yeah.
Yes.
He is another famous Gerard.
Yes.
Probably lesser than I, but nonetheless.
Is that who you get mistaken for a lot, Gerard Butler? Do they?
No,
think?
mostly Bears is what I get mistaken for. I was
Various
about to be like, that's
cocaine
usually
bear.
the go-to. Yeah, where a lot of people are like, did you wander out of a cave? So
Yeah.
And
Sure.
it's just like, what was hibernation like last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get a lot of either Gerard, so Gerard Ways for the emo kids,
Okay.
Gerard Depardieu for our French people, and Gerard Butler for the people who watch a lot of movies.
White
and then
people.
one person got me
For white people, so I was going to say too.
white people. Yeah.
Steven Gerrard, like a
okay.
like a footballer.
Yeah,
out of
sure.
England. Yeah, those are like my four major ones.
That's
and
pretty
then-
good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then Saint Gerard, patron saint of pregnant
sadist.
women. Yeah. So,
Patron saint of
Know a lot
pregnant
about
women.
pregnant women.
yeah, we're gonna bring in the
That's-
Catholicism right now.
That's
Are
incredible.
you Catholic?
I was raised Catholic.
Me too. Nice.
Yeah, I was
nice.
like Saint Anthony. All day.
Fucking losers.
Boom.
You know how much my knees hurt from bowing?
Protestant
at a
over here. Get on my
I
level.
always had to start trouble. I was gonna say Lutheran, and I was.
I don't
about to
feel
be
like that's why you're on your knees, but that's all right.
I think that was the joke,
that a sex
dumbass.
joke?
All right. Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah, don't
on.
clip that one. That was bad.
Yeah, no,
It's getting clipped.
I mean, you can clip it. It just makes you look like an idiot.
I trust y'all's judgment on this.
That's most clips. That's most things. Yeah, no, we're very excited to have you,
Yes.
Gerard. We're very fun.
I'm happy to be here.
Before you got here, I was kind of talking to Michael because you two. This is the first time you two have met.
I recognized you a little bit whenever you walked in. I've seen you at the club.
Yeah,
but-
I was gonna
Officially.
say, I think actual like a meet in person and be like, you exist.
and now you're at my house.
which is
That's weird.
no, it's like 42% weird.
I didn't turn the lights off behind Nathaniel.
Decent percent.
See, that would make it weird if you're like turn off the lights.
Yeah.
And like,
No.
what are we doing?
We record in the dark. It's
I
too
know.
late. It's all right.
It is
Why are
too
you
late.
grabbing my arm like that? It hurts.
Well, normally he has a baby here also, which just is another level of risk. But at the moment,
She's
we're all
eating.
good. She's gone. So
Yeah, she moved out.
she moved out. She's had enough.
She's 9.5 months old, and
that
she's
recession. That recession hit Johnson City harder than most.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
thought we were in Bristol initially. You were like,
Yeah, I
there's
did.
nothing going on in Bristol.
It's
Yeah,
the
but-
same thing. It
I
doesn't
was about
matter.
to be like, I'm like 42% sure what happens here is
Yeah.
happening in Bristol at this exact moment.
I think we're a little less racist in Johnson City with the college.
I came in and
everything.
saw a mighty big Trump flag.
That's true.
We
Those
did-
are
yeah,
around.
those are
Those
around.
are around.
I have a neighbor that
And that was
has
just
a,
at the courthouse, so that's weird.
there's a neighbor that says
And that was just a judge.
I have a neighbor that in their yard they just have a flag that says Trump was right, and I don't know what I don't
What
know
about?
Yeah, what about what?
Maybe just everything.
It just says Trump was right, and
I'm not
just-
sure that I disagree with the flag. Let's point that out first.
No, that'd be
okay?
great if you had a conversation where he was just like, actually, I was missing something and I didn't believe where I put it, and Trump told me.
Yeah.
It was right
He
there.
was right.
He was
Yeah.
completely accurate.
He knew
like,
my keys were in my other pants.
Yeah,
That's
no,
incredible.
it's just like, I'm the idiot. I put the remote in the freezer. What are the odds?
I feel like we have to go knock. We're going to pause the podcast. We're going to go knock on
What
this
was he
neighbor's
right
door.
about?
Yeah.
just in general.
I think I know the answer. and
No, I
don't
just-
wanna have that
I know the answer, but
Yeah.
I just want to challenge them a little bit, you know.
No, I kind of hope he's just like, I really wanted someone to challenge me on this. I'm like, I've been waiting to turn a new leaf.
They do.
I used
They
to
do.
have, and that wasn't really a neighbor, but I passed it from where I used to live. I used to go to this intersection all the time, and there was this like duplex where there was like there was somebody on the lower level, somebody on the upper level, and the person on the lower level had like a Confederate flag, a Trump flag, all that, and the person on the upper level had a pride flag, a Black Lives Matter
That's
flag,
cool.
all the stuff, and I was like, I'm sure they fucking
Yeah.
hate each other.
Those are some quiet elevator rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I feel like it's a very Joker Batman thing where it's like, I'm living because of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you
True.
give me so much purpose
Yeah.
right now.
There is no Joker without the
Yeah,
bat.
exactly.
right,
It's just like my hatred only works if you exist there. And it's just going to be like, thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the first time that you two have met, which I think is exciting. There's very few guests we've had on that are that situation, but I think it's fun to get to know a person because a lot of our listeners may not know you as well, Gerard. So for them, just kind of break it down. Like, how long have you been doing stand up now?
So probably a little bit over a year. Started in Knoxville, probably about a year and a couple months ago.
Okay,
so just over that year mark.
Yeah,
and of course I'm moving now.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'll be leaving Knoxville.
Where are you going?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, that's fun. Big comedy scene up in Madison, right?
Yeah,
actually, yes.
I'm sure there is. I don't know.
Actually, yes.
Are you moving? Are you moving there for comedy?
No,
or?
I'm moving there for work. But it's just wild how comedy on state has a lot of. They bring in a lot of big comics.
Yeah. So for anybody listening who's not familiar, because I mean, when you say Madison, Wisconsin, very few people's brain probably goes comedy, but truly, there's a club there called. It's Comedy on State, right?
Comedy on State.
Comedy on State, and it's one of the premier clubs in the country.
Really?
Yeah, like obviously you have your Austin and your LA, but then I would put maybe Zany's Nashville, Zany's Chicago, Comedy on State.
Yeah, you start moving into that space of like, this also has a great room.
Wise Guys.
Yeah. Was it Helium and all those places. And I've been talking to a lot of the comics that come through the Don't Tells, and every time I mention it, they either want to hit State or they want to, or they've done it.
Yeah.
Brad Sativa was one who he told me it was like one of the best open mic rooms I've ever seen.
Yeah, you were telling me a couple weeks ago it's like a couple hundred in attendance, right?
Yeah,
at an open mic?
For an open mic, yeah.
But it's a college town where you got all these people that just are like, I want to do something. It's cold, so it's like we got to be inside most likely.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, want to go see a movie or do you want to go listen to some comedy? And it's just like, we'll just rotate that every other week.
Yeah. And so you didn't start comedy until you reached Knoxville, right? Because you're not originally from Knoxville.
No. Yeah. Tennessee's my 7th state, so I move around a lot for work and comedy.
Murder, or work, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
First of all, those charges never stuck.
That's true. Acquitted Gerard, they call it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just sitting there going, like, kitty litter goes way further than people realize.
Forensics are getting pretty good. They're going to catch you. They're going to get you.
Just like sitting there going,
7th state. So what's your favorite state that you've lived in?
Oof, that's a great question.
And for what reason, really?
He's going to say something crazy like South Dakota. Or
no, I wouldn't.
No, he's not.
Not to piss off your South Dakota listeners, but probably not.
I don't think we have a single play in South Dakota.
They don't have phones.
Oh, let's start it now.
Get into it.
The hatred of South Dakota started with this one.
There's no
podcast.
electricity. They couldn't listen to this show if they wanted to.
They're not Mennonites. It's just like
they
make their own buggies.
I think Mennonites have electricity. Doesn't matter. Anyway, what's your favorite state?
Probably, honestly, I went to law school at Marquette, so I'm going back to Wisconsin because I had such a good, Wisconsin. I had
you're
such
a lawyer?
a good time. I graduated from law school.
Cool.
That's such a political answer. I love it.
No, it's because I'm not because I didn't go through the licensure process and all that. So I never want anyone to be like,
but
no,
you do
a lawyer
law
told
type
me.
stuff for sports teams. Is that correct? Is that am I incorrect?
Compliance.
Okay. Right.
So it's just bylaws and procedures. It's very dry, but I'm very fortunate to get to do what I do.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, you've heard me. I think Nathaniel's heard me say it a million times where I'm like, no, I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
I just keep like being in situations where I sit there going like, damn.
Yeah.
Why am I here? I'm the outlier in this room.
We were just talking right before we hit record too, and we can totally cut this if you don't want to share it because it's a little early. You never know, things happen. But I mean, you got an opportunity coming up right after the move to host for a big headliner that I think is exciting, and that you said happened just by sitting in a green room.
No, I appreciate it. We don't have to cut. I won't share it yet because I'm just waiting for things to become official. Right. But it really was just helping set up chairs, and honestly, I'm sure both of y'all have met some headliners before, and some are more cordial. Some will give you the like just general, man, thanks for having me. And then others will just be like, no, man, how long you been doing it? What do you like to do? What, you have a family? That's cool. You have a kid? That's how old? They'll actually kind of invest the time.
Isn't that so refreshing too? Because it is rare. I mean, I think it's more rare to get a real asshole as a headliner comic, but there's very few that are above and beyond nice too.
That is also, I think, probably fairly accurate. I've had the ones where it's like you clearly see them, they've had to do this a lot, so they go through the motions of like, I know how to be polite, but I also like, I'm just here to do comedy, and I'm not here to make connections. I have enough connections.
Yeah.
Which I respect. You're probably at that level all you care about is like, hey, I need to do my material. I got to get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm on the road. I'm ready to go home.
And you may have had shit gigs for the last 10 weekends. And so you're just in a bad mood. You know, like why would you think this is going to go well?
Yeah. And no offense, but sometimes it'll be like someone like me where I'm like, hey, hello, sir. Hello, man.
I know.
So y'all like funny chuckles, ha-has. And like,
I am hyper conscious about how I impact headliners. Like, shout out to Amber Autry, who is just fucking incredible. Probably the best headliner that I've ever seen at that club.
Amber kills.
Big
every
fan.
time.
Yeah, and she's also the Don't Tell rep for Knoxville as well, one of them. Yeah. And so it was cool to like get to meet her. But I wanted to share with her that I'm bringing Don't Tell here. We announced that on the show, so. Shocker if you didn't hear that before. Sorry. So I was excited to talk to her, but in my head, all night, I was like, not right now. She's about to go on. Don't bother her, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then afterwards, I was like, I have to tell you something. Like, I was so excited. But she was same thing, so nice and so welcoming and like super cool and helpful as well, which is awesome.
Is Amber full-time comedian?
Oh, yeah.
Amber Audrey. Yeah, she's
she out of Knoxville?
Nashville.
Oh, I thought you said Knoxville.
No. I may have.
I mean, she comes into the area so much though that like I think people just associate her a lot with that like Tennessee and then the peripheral scene, but she's just exploding right now. Yeah. I actually was on YouTube and saw somebody like a big reactor doing a reaction to one of her stand-up specials.
Oh wow.
Or like her Don't Tell thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's one of those precursors to when somebody's really gonna start gaining traction.
Blowing
up.
Yeah.
When
So
other people with audiences are showing their
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Because I sat there going like, oh, talk to Amber now, because one day you're just gonna be like,
Yeah.
hello, Amber. Do you remember me? And, I was like,
and she doesn't. No.
Well, she meets so many people, but she's always one of the kindest people. There's like some comics that have taken the time to actually like speak to me. Last night on the Don't Tell, I got to host, and Shaunik Gutkindi out of Atlanta. Hilarious, but also just will talk to you about anything and will like actually invest time. And you don't get that at a lot of headliners that I've a very young career, but nonetheless, I just really dug it. Dude,
isn't it crazy that like the thing we do is just go see other people be funny, and then sometimes we get to be funny?
Yeah.
Isn't that just crazy?
It's the best.
Like not to just dumb down stand-up comedy, but I think like,
that's why we do it. That's why I do it. Anyways.
It's like I didn't get to see any headliners this weekend. I had a busy weekend, but like you guys just went to 2 different shows and just laughed, and then now you're just talking about it.
I laughed so much. I went back the second night. I wasn't going to go. I drove like 45 minutes to go the second night.
Well, Ritu is also there, and Ritu murders too. Incredible. So I was just like, you got 2 great and I'm sure there's other comics.
And Travis hosted and did phenomenal. So the 3 of them, that's a great show.
Yeah.
And to Michael's point, I think the craziest part to me is people always say like, what's the coolest part about being in comedy? And I'll sit there and going like, honestly, it's either the pre or post show conversations with the comics.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Just standing around talking. Because I was always like, if people could buy people who love stand up, or they say they love stand up, if they could buy a ticket, it would probably be more to these
to the green room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones where it's like, those aren't even bits. It's just people bouncing ideas or just saying things that are funny.
Yeah. Or just talking shit.
Yeah. Like, because you're not worried about it. You're just having fun with your friends.
Yeah.
Or like other people that you know are going to be humorous about it. So I always tell people like, if you could see what it's like, you'd probably appreciate it much more.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
think so.
True comedy happening in the moment.
That's kind of why we started this show.
100% why we started this show.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
we can't do it after like a show because just, life
timing
and stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's like, the whole idea was because just talking to comedians like, hey, what's your thing? Have you listened to the show before?
Yeah. I've listened to about, I think, 10 episodes.
Oh, damn.
So I actually...
More than most, yeah.
I was giving y'all a lot of like...
More than I've listened to.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, me and Nathaniel, we've been... Because we met a few months back.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. Well, I started over the summer. I was living in Knoxville about half the time, so I was doing a lot of time down there in spots and stuff. So I got to know you a little more then, and we're pretty close in comedic age. A couple months apart, I think, from when we started.
Yeah, I think you're a little older than me. I think he was saying like you're in between us.
Somewhere between me and Michael, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hit my 1 year mark. I don't know if I shouted that out on the show. I feel like I did.
You did on stage.
When did you hit your 1 year mark?
January 3rd.
January 3rd.
Yeah.
Is that a resolution for you?
No.
Really? Just time?
What it was so 2023, January 2023 is when I started. And I booked the comedy class in like September, October of 2022.
Oh, that's right. The class, yeah.
And then I've talked about it. I'm not going to go into all the details of it, but I just wanted to do comedy for years.
Yeah.
And then just...
Is that the same for you, Gerard? You just always wanted to do it? Or because you started pretty late as far as like you have a pretty developed career. Obviously, you're moving for a job.
Yeah.
So you've kind of developed a career and a life, and then now you add comedy on top of it. I mean, what was the spark there that made you do it?
Truthfully, I mean, probably like most of us, I've heard some of your guests say before, like, I was always the funniest friend there, or people always said that. And I do think there's something there when it comes to friends being like,
yeah,
you usually are the consistent, but it's sort of that same conversation about when people say, what made you start comedy, or what's the difference? I'm the funny friend. I think I want to try stand up.
Yeah.
And I always try to explain, like, there's such a big difference between being the funny friend and crafting a strong set to connect with people you don't
Sometimes
know.
it does carry over.
It can't. Yeah.
But
no,
not
it definitely
always.
can, but not always.
It's,
And I've seen it go really great, and I've seen it go
Me too.
fairly poor. And it's not anyone's fault necessarily. It's more so of just like understanding the situation you're in, and like that you're going into something that a lot of people have practiced for a long time to become.
A long time.
Yeah, it's harder to make a group of people who are not supposed to talk back to you, laugh, than it is to riff and make somebody laugh.
I've done it for about a year, and I finally feel good about like 5 to 6 minutes.
That's kind of what
I finally am like, this 5 to 6 minutes can for sure get laughs.
Yeah.
And even then, I need to keep getting way better at that.
That's I like that because like I'd say I'm in the same boat. Like I have 5 to 6 minutes that the driest room in the world, I know I'm gonna get a laugh out of it. I have 15 to 20 minutes that a hot room's gonna love.
Yes.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And I that's what I usually look for from other comics. Is I was like, do you have a reasonable where we're at in our careers? Because it's very different, and that's totally
it's impossible.
okay.
It's impossible. That conversation I try to have so often, and I've had so many headliners be so nice to me and just be like, "Hey, stop counting." Like anytime I'm like, "How long you been doing comedy?" and they're like, "Doesn't matter. Stop counting. Why are you counting? Like, are you funny or are you not? Like, are you getting better? Or
are you writing
not?
a book?" And it's just
right.
like, no, why? And it's just like, because it doesn't matter,
exactly.
brother.
Yeah. I mean, we've been very fortunate in Bristol as well with Blue Ridge, where you've done spots and stuff. Great
Fun
club.
room. Yeah,
it's our favorite.
Sean's always been super nice to me. All y'all.
Well,
no one there is really ever. Most of y'all are pretty easygoing and like
except
easy
for that
to
one
talk
guy.
to.
Just kidding.
Oh, I was about to be like,
who
which
you are,
one?
Joe Bridges.
Yeah.
I think he said the most random thing to me once.
I believe that.
Joe's known to do that.
He did a 15-second set one time where I was just like, that was I don't know.
There's a clip if you're listening to this and you're curious who we're talking about. He has a recent clip of him just eating a pie into the microphone. That was his spot. He went on last. He went on 20th. It was a little fried pie. I think it was peaches and cream. And the only reason
where
I
did
know
he get the
that,
pie from? I just
bought it beforehand. Great company. I've had their pies. Good stuff.
Isn't there a bakery situation or something?
He's a baker.
I mean,
I'm like 42% sure.
Yeah,
but he was like at the show already. He didn't go into the show knowing he was gonna eat this pie.
I hope y'all open up his trunk of his car and he just has all the baking materials ready to go.
Yeah,
for such bits.
He's mobile for sure.
Oh, you gotta be.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He's wonderful, but he does a lot. He's not as invested in like pursuing comedy as we are. He has a life and a job and a family and stuff. So he was on the show and he said, I have no illusions about becoming successful as far as like touring the world and that's not not his version. He's just having a good time. And so that leads to him sometimes doing things like eating pie on stage. And the only reason I know that it's peaches and cream is because halfway through the clip, a crowd member yells, "What flavor is it?" And he says peaches and cream. That's the only.
Not where I would have gone with the flavoring, but
sure.
I respect.
I mean, he was at the club already. It's what was available.
I hope he had two, and he just went. You're like, actually, Michael, he had a couple.
If he pulled out a second one after finishing the first one into the microphone, I would have lost it. I would have went insane.
I'd
laughed. It was a very funny. It's a very funny off mic story to tell you what that was about. But I missed it, and I'm very upset that I missed that happen.
He's so funny. Is there anybody in Knoxville? We've talked about a lot on the show. We've had Justin on in the past. We've had Brandy on. Tyler Gallant. Yeah. So from their perspective, I think we've got a good idea of the scene. Yeah, he's dead.
He is dead to me.
Dead to us.
Yeah, I was about to end to Tennessee.
Yeah. No. So I mean, we've had plenty of people talk about Knoxville as a scene, but Gerard, is there anybody in that scene that stands out to you as far as like, this person is just really killing it right now, or maybe even somebody who's just been nice to you, kind of like the headliner situation?
Honestly, I've been fortunate to everybody's. I don't think I have anyone that I don't really not get along with.
Yeah.
And I know that's not always the case.
Let's talk some shit. We're here for it.
Yeah.
We'll cut it.
Yeah.
Look at Nathaniel. We're not going to cut it.
I'm going to bleep the name.
Yeah,
I'll bleep the name.
No.
Justin Mays is just the worst guy you've ever met, right?
Yeah.
He did kick me once.
Yeah.
I'll leave just the name. Yeah.
No, honestly, there's some people that gave me like an opportunity when I was first starting out, and I think that's always been really cool. But like Justin was one of the first ones to actually be like, "Hey, you're pretty funny," but he did something that nobody else had done for me yet, and he actually gave me advice. He didn't just say "good set" and move on.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, like I remember. No, like even better. He grabbed me one time and he was like, "You're funny when people can hear you. Eat the mic." And
that's very good advice.
Yeah, and I was just like, "What?" And he was like, "You drift with the microphone.
Yeah,
you probably aren't realizing you're doing that."
Nope.
And never again did I do that, but it was because somebody actually told me,
"Yeah,
you need to be cognizant of where the mic is." And then I sat there, and luckily for me, I was like, "Why didn't anybody else ever just share that with me?"
Right.
And it wasn't that anyone wasn't trying to help me. It's just like people are like, well, maybe, I'm not trying to hurt his feelings. Maybe he's what have you. Yeah. But I really needed something like that. And then once people recognize that you're willing to take a critique, you'll see people invest more time in you, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's tough too. I think we are just now at the level, and I'm sure you're kind of the same in Knoxville, where there are people who have started after us. Also, not to say that we're better or worse than them, but there are people who are newer into their comedic journey. And so sometimes, or even on this show, we'll get approached with questions about comedy from our perspective and things. And even though we really don't know shit, I'll try to help. But there is that level of what you're saying of like, well, I don't want to give him too much advice because then it feels like I'm just dogging him and he's doing fine. Like, I don't want to talk about how terrible he's doing and then be like, but you'll get better, you know?
Actually, great story on this. One of my favorite comics around, he's out of Fort Myers, Florida, JoJo Casillas.
Oh,
he won, I think, y'all's Bristol's funniest in 2021, 22.
He's the best future guest on the show, for sure.
Yeah.
That's 22, I think.
No, and love JoJo, but I remember my worst bomb that I had was in front of him, and I just remember, like, he was waiting for me in the back, and he was like, so you gotta not do that. And I was just like, which part? And he was like, pretty much the whole thing. Yeah. And I was just like... Yeah, that was. I knew I had done bad. I was like, no, and it was in front of Keith Marcel, another great comic out of Knoxville.
Amazing.
Wasn't your worst bomb in front of JoJo too?
I've had a lot of worse bombs, but I'm sure there's one.
If we can turn this into a blame JoJo, I'm completely okay
he is
with
a bad luck charm.
Yeah, and it was about to be like,
I bombed in front of JoJo too.
Yeah.
It wasn't my worst one.
I think not.
It wasn't my worst one.
That's
but
a
I
new
have
question
bombed
on
in
the
front
show.
of JoJo.
Have you ever bombed in front of JoJo?
It was probably my worst bombing since like being a little more established after that year. It was in front of him where I was like, everything went wrong. It was there was even like tech trouble. Like out of nowhere, the mic went off, making like a weird noise, and I was just like, "This is one of those shows where I think you just gotta like eat it and accept."
We did a show one time together where that mic was like you had to hold it a certain way, and if you didn't hold it a certain way, it just went off, and it was.
I remember now that I did bomb in front of JoJo one time because I went up to him.
You've talked about it on the show, is why I brought it up.
Right. So a couple months later, I had a good set in front of him. And I went up to him, and he was like, hey, great stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, I think after that last one you saw, I just thought it can't get any worse. And he just looked at me, and he goes, yeah, I can. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah, that's going to be fun later on.
He was on the Don't Tell last night. And
was he?
I got one of my main things was like, make sure JoJo doesn't think you're consistently not funny. That actually did go into my headspace a little bit. So.
He's also in the category for me of great laughs. There's very few people that like I listen for their laugh in my recordings. If I can hear JoJo pop off on a joke I made, I'm like, I'm keeping it.
Something. Who's someone in y'all's scene that like has a distinctive laugh? Like
Joe Bridges, Meredith Kerr, Sean. Yeah, Sean has a very good one.
Sean does, but it's not a boisterous laugh. So when you catch it, it makes you feel extra good because you know, like,
Do you all remember that show? I think y'all were both there. It was only
Pete Steigers, Katie's husband, has a very good one.
It was the one where there's an unhoused man came to y'all's show.
Yeah, I was. I don't know if you were there.
That's the show.
It was an open mic.
It was like 7 people maybe, and one of them was just like,
the guy who's sitting in the very back.
Yeah, where he's like, this guy's just staying warm.
Who fell asleep?
Yeah.
Makes you feel real good when you're telling jokes to an audience of 7 people and one of them is passed out asleep. Yeah.
No, I was happy for him because I was like, you stay warm, bro. Like, it's cold tonight. Like, you do your thing. Yeah, but I was just like, sorry, Sean, I'll buy a hot dog or something. And I was like, we'll make this work.
That was one of the rare shows where I think I had dinner before, or a party before or something. I couldn't come on time. So I got there super late, and I had my girl with me, but I was like, just stay in the car. I'm going to go in. It's late, so I'll probably get a spot soon.
Yeah.
I'll go up and run back out. I'll be out in 10 minutes. And I walked up to the door, and you guys were there. The Knoxville crew had driven up, which y'all's timing is impeccable every time.
I feel like you guys get some shit shows
every
whenever.
time. Yeah, but y'all were in the door, and I opened it, and I was like, hey, what's up? And you were like, don't just go home. Just go home.
Yeah,
and
I think I
walked up to
whispered
Pruitt.
to you.
Pruitt was like, not worth it, young man. Just go home. Yeah, that was a bad night.
We need to plan it one day, like where all the Knoxville and all the Asheville, like everyone can just have.
We've had it happen on accident one time before, and there was like 35 on the list. Too much.
Well,
it's
the best thing was
is
going back to Sean's laugh. I made a joke where I decided, I was like, screw it, we're just here to have fun tonight. If there's only 7 of us, if you can get a couple of laughs out of the comics just for looking ridiculous up there, perfect.
Yeah.
So I went up there with I was like, I'm going to have a positive attitude about it. But I just started bashing Travis.
Oh, that's funny.
And immediately, that was the most I've ever heard Sean laugh at my jokes. And it was just like, Sean loves the bashing Travis joke. So ever since then, I was like, I got to write more Travis Stevenson, like, put downs and roasts.
Sean likes the roast. I mean, he was just a judge on the roast battle as well, which you're a part of. Yeah, also, do you enjoy the roast battles? It's very different than stand-up, obviously.
It's a great writing exercise.
Agreed.
I think if... Michael, have you ever done a roast?
I've not. I got Justin asked me and Nathaniel to do it, but I couldn't do it. And
he's a wimp.
Yeah, that's what it is. No, I just couldn't make the drive.
Openly weeping.
Yeah.
No.
It's hard to make a 2-hour drive on a Tuesday work for me.
Yeah, but you're gonna get 5 minutes.
Let's
get excited.
You sound like every booker I've ever worked with.
No, I know. That's the best thing to hear.
The first time I got booked at Alley Ray's was with Sean Bagley, and forgetting the headliner name, but it didn't matter. But me and Sean Bagley drove 2 hours.
For 5?
For 5. I think I did. I think he did 5. I think I did 7, something like that.
That's the name of the game, son.
And we're driving back home, and we're just like...
I still do it. I do it all the time. I just did it the other night.
But we were driving back home, and we're like, we just drove 2 hours. 4 hours for
round
5 minutes of stage time.
How'd you feel you did that night?
Honestly, it was very good. It was.
That's why it's usually the thing where it's like, if you can kill, you can usually justify it in your head of like, that was still worth it. It was a little crazy, but worth it.
And I've kind of told this story before. I did do the Alley Ray's drive for a 15-minute set and was bombing. I only ended up doing 10. I bombed so hard that Adam hugged me when I got off stage.
Yeah.
And
it's a good
that
sign.
was a long drive home. That one was...
It's a good sign. Do you, Gerard, what are bombs like for you? I mean, for a lot of people, and also just in case anybody's like a first-time listener and doesn't really know the term, but like you just had a bad set, you know, and some people have bad sets. It happens. Even big-name headliners. It just happens.
The goal is to bomb less.
Right, just bomb less often.
Yeah. Or sandwich them in the middle of good jokes. Where it's just like, okay, they know you can be funny.
Yeah. I think a lot of, especially young comics, suffer from bombing is so scary or it's so impactful to them that that's their main fear. Is it a big fear of yours, or is it just like, it just happened tonight?
No, but I also think I'm fortunate to be I'm going to be 34 in July. Mm-hmm. So I've failed at a lot of things before comedy. Yeah. And like, I don't even say that in a jokey way, but like I've experienced enough of like, you're just not good at this. I'm going to play an instrument. Yeah, you kind of suck at that.
Yeah.
You're not going to ever make it. Give up. And you can keep trying, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So after a while, I think when you have a healthy perspective of like, it's okay to fail and or see that something is going to take a lot more time to get better at.
Yeah. Right.
And I actually take that back into going to all the schooling because I was like, I always tell people one of the best things that's happened to me is I know I've been the dumbest person in the room. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Because that means I've surrounded myself with people that are like, I can learn from.
Right, the challenge of
it is good to be the dumbest person in the room. Nathaniel's very good at that, but
I'm that when I'm alone. I'm still I'm always the dumbest. You know, it happens. What I'm curious, how old you say you are, Gerard?
I'm 33, gonna be 34 in July.
34, okay, and that's in human years, not bear years. Yes.
So that's actually a great thing that you brought up. So if you have a farmer's almanac,
got him.
No, believe me.
Yeah.
I want to punch him in the face right now. I'm
actually working on a little pseudo bit, or Rodney Danger Bear.
Offended me.
I'm pretty
Rodney
excited.
Danger. Oh my God! Please,
bear jokes in the form of Rodney. No respect. No respect at all.
I will fly to Madison, Wisconsin to hear this bit unfold.
Just like the estate of Rodney Dangerfield is like, you're gonna have to stop immediately. Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
My father was an ugly bear, a real ugly bear. The salmon just jumped in his hands and said, "Kill me, please."
Are you gonna wear the tie? If you did
wear a tie, I'm classy.
Yeah, the tie. You also, I'll say this: you're a real chameleon with your outfits. I've seen you in a variety of outfits. We did a show together, the roast battle, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, tell everyone what you called me, Nathaniel, while I was talking to a woman.
Maybe it'll be funnier than the last 5 things he said on the show.
It was
I love
very
that y'all
funny.
just attack each other viciously.
It was very fun. We were at the show, and I think it was me and Andrew were standing there talking about you. We were just far enough away to where we knew he could hear us talking shit.
Every word.
But he was talking to someone else. He was talking to some woman or something. And
Were you like hitting on this lady?
I mean, I'm a comic. I'm always sort of hitting on somebody in a weird way.
So he's like,
So he was spitting game, and
he's over there going, I know I am pretty funny. And so he's standing over there talking to her, but we're just far enough away. And we knew he wouldn't break conversation with her. So we're just talking shit about her. And we were talking about how many different layers of outfits he was wearing, and that each layer looked like a different style. And I was like, I feel like he's like a gobstopper. I feel he's like a stylish gobstopper.
And that's all I heard that made me immediately like, I
was like, oh no, it's cherry. Oh yeah, now it's red. Wow. Yeah. It keeps changing. And then he came over like 10 minutes later and was like, I could hear every fucking word you idiots were saying.
It was because I knew y'all were staring at me because I saw your eyes drifting up and we were like, Gerard? And like, oh.
We wanted a reaction so bad, but he was like stuck in that.
That's a true professional.
No.
True professional.
No,
he was in it for the game. Yeah.
I was in it for the long haul, but they also were too.
Yeah.
What do you think like the best show that you've ever been on was? How'd that go?
Ooh, honestly, so last night was, and not to be this guy, but like on that Don't Tell, because I've been trying to work my way up to something. I try to have goals.
Yeah.
And I think a Don't Tell for like where I'm at in my career was my next goal to try to do. So I got to do a hosting gig, and it was about 125 people or something like that.
At the most you ever performed in front of?
No, I think I've done a show where it was like maybe either that or a few more of that. But anything over 75, I'm usually like, this is a healthy audience for what I can do.
Oh yeah, 75.
Anything over 75 is just,
it's great.
You're not going to eat it. It's hard to eat it. When there's 75 people in the room.
No, it's why I tell people like do the tiny rooms or like do it when there's 7 people in there, because if you can get a chuckle out of like 2 of those people, you'll probably have it. Yeah, you probably have something. It's just it's weirder when you're trying to attack a small audience versus you got all these people that if you can get a good premise, you can get a good story going. You're gonna do okay.
Yeah,
or at least that's how I've always seen it.
Well, the Knoxville scene is a little further along, which we've talked about before on the show too. It's been established a little longer, so your crowds are a little more regular, also of good size and stuff. I mean, obviously Madison's going to be a change from that. Does that intimidate you at all?
Real quick before we do that, aside from recency bias,
right.
Oh, what would you say is your best show?
Yeah, ever. Yeah.
Honestly, the first time I was on Central Cinema.
Okay.
So it's this independent theater. Brandy Augustus is actually
it's incredible.
Yeah, it's Brandy Augustus books for that one.
That's where I called you a gobstopper. That
is where you mocked me for how I dress and my personality.
I know, I dress like a homeless third base coach. Anyways, yeah.
Let's not give yourself that much credit.
Right. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
The Madison Mallards will have something to say about that.
I dress like I think I'm cool. That's how I feel like I dress. I'm not
we
cool,
don't think it, but you do.
I know. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I just
cardigan looks like Kurt Cobain wore it the day before.
I had a joke. So I'm 28 now, so I don't do it anymore. But I had a joke when I was 27 that I need to just end this shit while I'm still in my Kurt Cobain year. Anyway.
And we all wish you might have.
No, this cardigan looks like it was owned by Kirk Cobain, his cousin that nobody knows.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like,
the accountant.
He kept the finances for the band.
Yeah, exactly. He was just sitting there going like, that Dave Grohl's going to fail.
This is the end for Dave Grohl.
Exactly. Like, sorry, Dave.
God, how wonderful is he? What a great
Dave Grohl?
Yeah. One of the best.
Like
he's one of our finest, I think.
I think,
he can do a lot of different. He
wears
a lot of different
white.
hats.
Yeah, he was like 14 when he joined Nirvana.
Did you call him a fun white?
I said he's a fun white. Of the whites, he's one of the funnest, I think.
But he was like 14 when he joined Nirvana. He lied to him about how old he was. You guys know
really?
that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was like maybe 15, something like that.
He just wanted a shot.
He did. Yeah.
It was like, if you just give me a shot, I swear I'm pretty good.
They found out pretty quickly, but he was already like better than everybody. They're like, oh, fuck it. Like
he has good
The 90s were a great time.
Let's keep him around. Yeah.
Anyway. But Central Cinema was probably that place for me. It was the first time I went on. I actually got booked by, I don't know if y'all met Mason Guidry.
One time I met.
Yeah. So he's kind of a traveling comic now, and him and his wife Haley, they were super kind to me. But he saw me do a bit he saw me do open mic at a vape shop in their basement, and I think I made some Home Alone joke that killed with him.
Yeah,
and he was just like, I really want you people to see you, and it was kind of a big break at that time.
That's
for me.
awesome.
It was it was like one of my first. Let's put you in front of a showcase, and I was like, okay.
God, that feeling too in that moment had to be unbelievable.
Oh, and it was weird because I actually didn't tell. I've never told him this, but the first time I met him, I was like, "Is this just like
you want to have sex with him?"
Okay, first of all, Nathaniel,
you said you never told him. I thought we were revealing.
Nathaniel's on something today. What's in that coffee? It's the same thing I drank.
It is. Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah, and I was about to be like, actually, do y'all have liquor on your persons?
Not at the moment.
Nope.
This isn't Johnson
It's
City
never
that I've read about. Yeah, this isn't the Johnson City.
We used to bootleg for Al Capone, but
that is true. Mm-hmm.
No, that's why we have Capones downtown.
We've had
Albert
several
Capone.
guests bring different alcohols as well, but it's so early when we record that we're always amazed at particular guest choice. You, however, went with an unnamed brand of a diet soda.
Do you think they're going to sue us?
I think so.
I think
Maybe we'll get an ad.
I think the camera can see it.
Maybe we'll get an ad.
No,
you're drinking a cool, refreshing Diet Dr. Pepper.
I know. Manufactured out of Waco, Texas.
Is it really?
Please tell me that's true.
Yeah, it is. I'm from Texas, so I was like, you can go.
Have you been to Waco?
Is that why everybody drinking it is in a cult? Because they have to tell you that they drink it all
Okay,
the
first
time?
of all, that was only one.
My wife drinks that Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And she tells everybody, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's like, we got to be careful not to.
She keeps it to herself.
Waco.
Yeah, no one wants to be promoting cults around here. It's just like.
Oh, no, I'm big. Listen, as far as cults go, I think Waco's pretty interesting.
I don't think we have it. Are you familiar with any cult? Like, did you grow up in a cult area? You're from Texas.
I grew up in
Texas.
I'm originally from out of San Antonio. No, San Antonio is the 7th largest city in the nation, which is
it's massive
by population or geography. I'm just kidding. I knew what you meant. Go ahead.
Fuck right off.
Actually, both.
Really?
He knows the answer.
Yeah, and I was about to be like smart ass.
What's what's the sun like?
I knew it.
What's the sun like?
Oh God, I knew it. Don't answer it, Gerard. Don't answer it. It's a trap.
Well,
shout out to Jared Hazen for ruining this show.
Jared Hazen doesn't ruin anything. I love Jared Hazen.
That had amazing feedback. I just want you to know.
Good.
Everyone was on my side of that. They thought you were an asshole. Anyway.
They usually do.
I love that y'all just keep attacking each other.
That's what we do. We invite people to his home, and then we fight in front of him.
Jared was
like
from
the opposite
Alaska.
of what my dad
Yeah.
And I was like, what's the sun like up in Alaska? And it you would have thought I kicked Nathaniel's dog with how he fucking reacted to that. He was pretty upset.
Were you upset about the
I just
Aurora
thought, what
Borealis?
a fun question for this comedy podcast to be like, tell me about the moon cycles where you grew up.
Moon cycles stay the same. Fucking idiot. Anyway.
No, San Antonio was a fun time. Is obviously my hometown. Like I said, 7th largest city in the nation.
Yeah.
So great place.
Geography and population.
Also square footage.
Wow.
Don't ask how I know that. It's just
That would be
pretty
geography.
Cool. You've done a lot of work down there. It sounds like you did a lot of measuring. Yeah.
a lot of electricians.
And you never did stand up while living there, correct?
No. And honestly, that just started as like honestly enough, I think I've gone on stage like drunkenly before in previous spots.
Sure.
But to actually take it seriously, and I went on a date when I first moved to Knoxville, and I remember way out of my league, and she just said like, you're really funny, like you're funny enough that you should like be on stage. Have you ever done bits or something? And I had written notes of things that I just like knew were funny.
That's the start.
Yeah, and then it's amazing what like what someone you're attracted to can get you to do, because suddenly I was like, maybe I can fulfill a dream. Like, is that possible?
Yeah,
it's wild.
She's
to
like,
me.
I think you could jump off this skyscraper and live, and you're like, I probably could.
Yeah, I know exactly. Like, do I need?
I'll be waiting for you on the way.
She knows best. Yeah,
I know. It's like, what is that? A parachute?
Did that work out? That relationship?
You know what? I don't think we need to talk about these things, Nathaniel.
How long after that conversation of her saying that she thinks you should do it, did you go up and do it?
Oh, probably within a couple weeks. I was like, I immediately searched open mics Knoxville. Went to Scruffy City.
Scruffy, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think y'all have both. Have you? Not you. Okay.
I've only ever in Knoxville. I've only ever done Alley Ray's. It's just
I've only drank at Scruffy.
Well, you also have a child.
Yeah, my daughter.
You have people that care about you.
Yeah, it's hard to make a 2-hour drive on a Monday.
I know, just like that's gonna stifle your. Yeah, that's gonna stifle your comedy. Your comedy dreams a little bit. Yeah, no.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I just want to
Due
say,
the
I
love
went
of your wife and
This is what you get for having people care about you.
semi-viral on Facebook and Instagram with some clips. So
You did?
I mean, semi.
No,
Well, hold on. If we're
Look.
defining square footage of Texas, define semi.
30 views. 30. Yeah.
Like,
Go ahead, shout it out so
A
that
couple
everyone watching
thousand.
can listen.
Did you really get a couple 2K?
I got I posted 3 clips, and between the 3 of them, I got about 5,000.
Between the 3 of them?
None of them hit 2,000.
What is
but
that?
I was hoping he was going to say
To be
between the
fair.
3, one had like 2,000 and the other
so-
2 were just
No,
like
one of them,
so pathetic.
one of
when
them
you're
had
like,
like-
I've posted 20 clips this week.
No,
and I'm up to 100
posted,
views.
I posted 3. One of them, I mean, to be fair, I don't have any presence on it, but one of them, the first one got like 1,800, the second one got like 16, the third one got like 1,400.
That's great.
That is healthy.
It is,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
going to say
that's
that's healthy for where we're at in our career.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mock anyone.
Well,
for
you
being
also
like,
post real estate stuff, and your baby was in one of them, and that did really
That
well.
made me, oh my God, I'm going to vent for a second. Okay, so my Facebook is just a hodgepodge of everything I do because you don't want to post all about the same thing.
A lot of gambling
algorithm.
photos.
Shut up.
on there.
So I post like a lot of real estate stuff, and then I post comedy stuff.
Okay.
And on one video of my real estate stuff, my daughter had to get shots, and it was the day I needed to upload, and I hadn't recorded yet. So baby got shots. I took her to my office to record the video, but I had to hold her because I can't just sit there and not.
Yeah.
She was like 6 months old. I shot that one time. And typically it takes me a couple shoots to get it. I shot it one time. Wasn't that good of a video, whatever. By far was the best real estate video I've ever done. And
It's
then
a
other videos that I take like time to plan, record, edit, all this stuff.
Don't plan. Just get
Don't
the
do
baby.
shit. Yeah.
Just get baby OJ.
Yeah,
Get her in
just
the
like-
shot.
Yeah, just have her there and just be sitting there going like, I'm a guy
I
with
think
a baby.
you should do comedy holding baby OJ from
I
now on.
almost
That's
took
what I
her
think.
to the open mic on Wednesday.
I've
and
never seen somebody do that. I've never seen somebody go on
You
stage
should
with a
hear her
baby.
bit on bottles. She has a great bit on bottles.
My daughter?
Yes.
Yeah, she's real good. No, I almost took her to the open mic on Wednesday.
so stupid.
No. What's up with these new diapers, huh? They don't stay on great.
also Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah. I love that everything is my default Rodney Dangerfield. What's up with
Dude,
no
I could do
respect. My dad like, gives me a bath every night. I hate it. Just like, I'm clean, Dad. I haven't done anything today.
She's got a little tie on.
I could do that. Just take her to the show and then just like hold her and be like, "This is all the shit she told me on the ride over here," and then just do 5 minutes of baby
Yeah.
jokes. That would be funny.
That would be funny.
I almost took
What's
her-
the deal with keys, huh? They're so jingly.
What's up with shiny objects, huh? What's up with electrical outlets? Why do I want to put my hands on them?
I am tired of cream peas and baby carrots. I'll tell you.
I did almost take her on Wednesday with me.
That would crush, dude.
No, it would crush.
I thought about Nathaniel. The first time I took her to the open mic, she was 3 weeks old. Okay, I did take her with me. I didn't take her on stage, but she had just been born. I wanted to go back, have a little bit of normalcy.
Yeah.
So she came with me. Her and my wife came with me. And I told Nathaniel I should just take her on stage with me, not address it, and do all of my pregnancy jokes.
Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah.
I mean, I think it would work
Yeah.
as long as you have her there as the prop.
She was so small at the time, too.
She was
Yeah,
3 weeks to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
3 weeks in a day.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick story. That time when that happened, I think Rain was hosting. Rain McKee, former guest of the
Yeah.
show, incredible
I love
comic.
Rain. She's
She was
funny.
on stage.
This is before me and Rain even really knew each other.
Yeah,
too.
she was on stage. Michael had his baby, and somebody had already addressed that there was a baby, so like everybody knew. But these teenagers, these rowdy ruckus skateboarder teenagers from town, walked in, and they were in the back causing a disruption. And from stage, Rain goes, "How old are you guys? Are you even old enough to be in here?" And from the back row, I just go, "There's a baby in here." And Rain broke. She lost it on stage because she was like,
funny.
"Oh yeah, oh shit, there's a
I'm
baby."
not. As a clarification, I'm not a douchebag who takes my baby to shows. I've taken her to 2 open mics, and as soon as she gets fussy, we leave. So
Yeah.
I'm nice.
Do you
about it.
take her to movies?
No, God, no.
Thank God.
No, dude.
Doesn't that make you like him a little bit
the
more?
only reason?
You're like,
only-
is that the point where we're like, okay, we're on the good side again?
And I don't take her to like actual shows. I take her to a couple open mics where I'm friends with everybody there, and I
Yeah.
tell a couple jokes, and I get the fuck out.
We're
know?
just glad to see her. We would prefer she comes and doesn't bring you,
Yeah.
but she just can't drive.
Hey,
Take her
people
to
just broke
Christopher-
into my
yeah.
house. Look at that.
Yeah.
Take her to Christopher Nolan movies. That'll
Yeah.
be great. It's just
3
sitting there
hour-
going 3.5 hour movies.
Take her to
Just-
fucking Interstellar and
Yeah.
just be like,
Did you know
see
there's an Interstellar
with me?
2?
Yeah.
This
Her-
time, love conquers all.
Are you a movie guy?
That's
Are
my
you big-
favorite movie of all time. Interstellar is. Anyway, go ahead.
We share that.
Yeah, no. So I'm a real big movie person. One of the best things when you move around enough is you have to find things to do, and like
Right.
buying a movie pass is usually like, here's my go-to thing. I'm gonna pretend to socialize.
That's smart.
Yeah.
No. Well, I have a bad
Pretend
habit
to
of
social.
I can be antisocial, so sometimes I'll just do sign language when I like first meet people at a movie theater. The only problem is I guess some people might assume that I might be deaf by doing that.
Yeah, if you came up to me and started doing sign language, my first thought would be, this guy probably doesn't talk.
I would just be concerned that you're throwing gang signs in a theater. That would scare me.
That's also true.
Only if it's a Batman movie.
No, well, the wildest thing is there's somebody in Knoxville that thinks I'm deaf still. Because I just haven't been. Yeah, no, it's not a bit. I just don't want to like talk to people.
I think you should do as a bit. You got a move coming up. I want at least one person in that town to think you're deaf.
Well, every time you're around, she actually knows sign language, and I don't know it that well. I know enough to get into a movie. I don't know enough to actually have a conversation.
3.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm getting there.
We'll start small. Small.
That's a good thing to learn, though.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie? Is there?
Toy Story 2.
No, I actually hate Toy Story 2.
I thought he was going to say 3 because he was going to say you look like that bear in it. And I'm glad that he didn't say that because that'd be disrespectful.
Toy Story 4.
And I'm not going to say it.
Someone at work said I reminded them of Wheezy. And I didn't know why.
Oh,
the broken squeak. Yeah.
Gerard, look at the camera.
Yeah, they were like, you just look like you were left on top of a cupboard.
That thing's got a little tie.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like, you look like Wheezy. And I was just like, what does that even mean?
He's got a little tie.
Yeah, they looked it up at work, and I was just sitting there going, I'm going to report this to HR.
You came out one time at a show. We were at a show at a vintage clothing place, and you came out in this fucking vest one time. It was like sequined. You look like the blue fish on the cover of that kid's book. And you walked up to me and said, tickets, please, tickets. And I almost lost it.
Oh, yeah. That's my great impression. Tickets.
Yeah.
Checking train times.
You're a great ticket salesman, for sure.
I think.
Are you looking up Squeaky right now? Is that what you're doing?
Wheezy. I'm trying to pull
Wheezy. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Wheezy,
like, get it right. No,
sorry, I thought it was Squeaky.
That
That's
vest,
my bad.
One of my...
I'm going to plug it on the video. What are you doing?
I actually do look a lot like
I'm
that.
cutting
That's a little wild. If you had more hair.
You do have hair.
Well, I love it because I think it ends with him singing because he gets his voice fixed or something. So somebody was like, you should do a black tie event where you do that song.
I would pay to see that also. I think you should close all your sets by just singing.
Is the funniest insult I've ever heard of.
That's a pretty good one.
I think in my life.
Where was that during the roast battle? Because that would have really came in handy for whoever.
I've been
was it Tyler?
Yeah. No.
I said it was somebody at work.
It was someone that I work with. I was like, oh my God, you're Wheezy. And I was just sitting there going like, I thought they were talking about the Jeffersons. So
George and Wheezy.
Yeah, George and Wheezy. So I was just sitting there going like, what an odd thing to say to me, but I love the Jeffersons.
You thought
Sherman? Yeah, I love Sherman. Like,
what a weird insult.
That's what I said. I was like,
George Jefferson's
black and I was just sitting there going like, that's an odd thing to shout to a coworker. And I was just like, weird. We're professional. But I was like, Wheezy's hilarious. So I was like, oh, thank you. That's so kind of you. And they were like, no.
That's hilarious.
And then they pulled up Toy Story 2 clips, and I was like, as long as it's not the Prospector, I'm okay. I hated the Prospector.
The Prospector's the bad guy?
Yeah. He's the one that's just like, you're going to die with us because, like, you're a toy.
Toys,
and, like, you're going to be forgotten about anyways, so, like, die with us. It's a really dark film. It's a dark message for the kids.
I haven't watched Toy Story 2 and
it's a very sinister
since
film.
It came out.
Apparently.
No. Honestly, I think... I'm trying to think of all the movies I watch a ton.
I picked Toy Story 2, by the way, because I thought that was the worst one of the set, because that's the only one I don't really remember. But now I'm happy I did it.
It's the one with Al, like Al's like fixing
Toy
up
barn.
Andy. Yeah. He like he has his little thing.
Weird,
yeah.
I remember that guy actually. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what's your favorite movie? You've seen so many.
Probably Donald Darko. Honestly,
I thought you were going to say
Donald
Toy Story
Darko,
2.
Not Donnie Darko.
What do you call it?
Donnie Darko. Is that not the name of it?
Yeah, it's the name of
the movie.
I just watched that not long ago for the first time. It's good. It's very good.
Have you seen S Darko?
What?
Have you seen the sequel?
Oh, about Samantha?
Yeah.
No.
Not as good, but it's good. There's a
really
sequel.
There's a sequel. They made it. It got like
It's,
released at Blockbuster like 6 years later in the like
after Blockbuster was closed.
Yeah. Well, it was in Bend, Oregon, the last Blockbuster. No, that's not true.
It's his sister and Donnie Darko. It's the same actress.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's about her and her partner, and they're
she's like going. She's starting to see visions now. And
do you consume a lot of stand up now, Gerard? Like
I actually, so I think I grew up kind of like pretty much everybody in this room, most likely. Comedy Central was just like staying up late.
Yeah.
What are some big names at the time that like stick out for you as maybe influences or just that made?
I think the first thing I saw was like Dave Attell's Insomniac.
Perfect.
Like it was very just late at night, and so I would just be sitting there laughing. Then I saw some like Ralphie May, and then you remember the 30-minute like Comedy Central bits.
Yeah.
So the only one
Comedy Central presents.
The only ones I didn't like. I think the only one I didn't laugh at was Dane Cook's.
I'm just kidding. Really?
Oh, I hated Dane Cook.
You don't like Dane Cook?
I always just said he's a great storyteller, but he's just like saying things very loudly.
Yeah, it's not your
very
style.
loudly and animated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was just sitting there. Maybe it's just because I was very monotone, even as a baby, where it's just like
your cries were very
goo goo gaga.
Yeah,
I get no respect.
Yeah, I get no respect. No, but like his was the only one where I was like, but everybody else was always just so funny. And then just started. I love Sinbad for some reason.
Oh yeah,
I was like, Sinbad is
that's
peak
probably
90s.
a first for the show. I think
Sinbad,
probably the first one to shout out Sinbad.
Louis Anderson, Life with Louis. That show's hilarious.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah,
rest in peace.
Yeah, I had to. Rest in peace. Yeah,
I had to take Wheezy off my computer because I was looking at Wheezy right here and comparing
It's
it. Dude, I was
distracting,
Which one am I talking to?
Yeah. I was looking at in his eyes a lot.
That would make sense. I mean, if Louis Anderson and Attell are like big influences yours, I think that would make sense why Dane is not really your cup of tea. Like that's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah. Well, also Mitch Hedberg, obviously.
Again, like
Lavelle Crawford is one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's another first for the show. Good
Lavelle
for you,
Crawford's one of my favorite comics.
You have no idea who Lavelle is, dude. Yeah, Michael knows nobody.
Look up like Shaq's Comedy All Star shows.
Okay.
He always
like
is
Shaq.
one of my,
Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaquille.
No, Shake.
I thought. Wait, what? Shaquille?
Shaq is in Shake. That's all right.
Anyway,
forget it.
Yeah, it's okay. That bombed.
Idiot.
Every time I'm at an NBA game, they always have Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal. Okay.
It always makes me laugh.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's
there's
San Antonio Spurs
Shaq put a lot of specials together back in the day.
Yeah.
There's one that has I think I've talked about it before on the show. It may be my favorite comedy special of all time, but it's multiple comics. It's like a showcase special. Kevin Hart is on it, but there's a couple like Ari Spears on there. Fucking Ari Spears at the beginning, and then Tommy Davidson. I think he's somewhere towards the beginning of the lineup. And in my opinion, I think he has the strongest set. You probably don't know Tommy either.
Joanna Man. Have you seen Joanna Man?
Sure.
Okay, that's...
He thinks we're making up names at this point.
Yeah, no, I was about to be like...
You know John Cleveland? He's great.
Jonathan Cleveland.
There probably is a Jonathan Cleveland out there.
Yeah,
right
of course
now.
there's a
like,
Jonathan
they know
Cleveland.
me.
I'd
He's
like
from
to move
Dayton,
on.
Ohio.
Yeah. We're confusing
like
Michael.
On.
He's lost.
Yeah, no, we'll move on.
He's scared. He's lost.
I am. I'm the worst comedian there is. So
that's quite a declaration to make.
It's about time he admits it.
I love that you say that on a comedy podcast.
Minus that guy who went on stage last week. And I don't know if he went back, but that was
shout out
funny.
to your boy. He did not.
I didn't think he did.
He did not.
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen on a
speaking of that,
stage.
Gerard, I mean, open mics are interesting because you get to see such a wide range of talent and comedians and stuff. I mean, do you have a story that sticks out? Obviously, we'll omit names, but is there like a wild story from an open mic that sticks out to you? Because this is the kind of stuff like when we're in an alley behind the club after a show, everybody's like, "What's the craziest shit you've ever seen in an open mic?" Like,
name them.
You don't have to name drop, but what's something wild that's happened?
Let's see. It's usually when somebody gets offended or like, I think the first time I saw somebody, I'm not going to name names, but the first time I saw him perform.
Andrew McCaffrey.
How'd you know that?
Yeah.
No, the best thing was somebody challenged him to a fight because he the guy trips going to his seat and he's in the front row.
Yeah.
And it's an open mic, so he gets called out immediately that's so embarrassing. And immediately the guy was like, "Fuck you, man." Like just starts and he's already drunk. No, like the comic was the crowd member in the front row. And the comic like makes a joke because it's funny. Because the dude just tripped right in front of everyone.
It's very funny.
Yeah, and so everybody, it's like a good moment.
A nice trip.
Later on in that night, all I hear is like, "Oh, that guy, he got knocked out in the front of the. He got knocked out, I guess, later that night." And I was like, "By who?" And they were like, "I think the bouncer like knocked him out because he was drunk and belligerent and trying to fight people."
That's
Jesus.
Sick. Yeah, that's a cool move to be like, you know what I want to do with my Tuesday night? Probably go out to an open mic, get hammered, and get knocked out by a bouncer.
I mean, it's a great bit if you can commit to it.
Yeah,
that's a great bit if you can commit.
You know what? Cool 1 year anniversary was a couple days ago.
Yeah, I do know actually. Yeah, shout out to anybody who's listened to older episodes of the show. 1 year ago was the fight at the Rum Bar, Mike, that we always talk about. Where
I didn't partake.
This lady went nuts and tried to shove Joey Gray, who was hosting at the time, and tried to fight. And his very pregnant wife intervened and almost threw down. And me and Pruitt had to basically escort these couple of people out of the thing. It was terrible. It was crazy.
I went on stage during all of this. It was so fun.
Yeah, and then I came back in the door from all that, and they're like, "Next up, Nathaniel Boone." I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
It was fun.
Yeah. Another fun thing about open mics is, obviously, y'all can't see it from here. I look more like Wheezy, but a lot of people think I'm Asian. Right. I'm actually Mexican.
Right.
So you've heard bits about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard it, Michael, but I have stuff like that. So the amount of people that'll come up to me and be like, yeah, I still can't believe you're Asian. And I'm just being like, no one believes that I'm Mexican.
That's funny.
Like, I don't know what to do to squash this. But
yeah. Well, you have material, too, about people mistaking your identity and stuff. Like
some people think I'm a bear. Some people think I'm Asian.
That is true. Some people,
could be a panda.
Still aren't convinced that you're not. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm
you
sorry.
articulate very well.
Do we need to cut what I just said? Maybe. I don't know.
No.
That used to be my high school nickname.
It's an Asian bear.
I won't cut anything.
Cool. Pandas aren't Asian bears, are they?
Pandas?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
Are they
I
based
think
out
so.
of
China.
Asia? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're bears, right? Like they're
no,
bears?
but I was like, is that the continent? That are they like just all?
I think so.
Pretty much. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few in zoos, I think, but other than that,
you mean my brothers? My brothers being imprisoned.
You should march
and the human zoos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You should march for them. Yeah,
you
we'll
should
start
march
a panda
for them.
march. If you want to support Gerard and his march for pandas, we'll put a link in the bio. Yeah.
Okay.
The march.
Hey,
the march of the tears.
So we do probably need to start wrapping up a little bit. So we do typically end on, you've been in comedy for a year and a half, right?
Ish, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ish.
Let's say somebody gets off stage for the first time, or they're just not as experienced in comedy, like a Justin Mays, just not that funny, anything like that.
At least use a pseudonym like Mustin Jays.
Mustin Jays, or
you're fucking asking for it, by the way. You're
I was
destroyed.
I was about to be like, he said things to me that's openly made me cry in public.
Spoiler alert! If you've made it this far into the episode, tune in next week to hear Michael get his ass.
They are sitting Andrew McCaffrey and Justin Mays. I don't know if you guys saw me flip somebody off a little bit ago, but it was them. So
it's gonna be fun.
I thought that was towards me. I was like, apparently I annoyed Michael Rose.
Justin just flashed a fucking knife at me. This is going to be fun.
I was like, welcome to Knoxville, Michael.
Next week,
ready to get touched?
next episode, Gerard's going to be sitting here, and I'm going to be dead underneath the table. So
Gerard's taking over.
Yeah.
Can't get my hair that high. Like,
we're
going to have to.
Give it Viagra. Shout out to Travis. His hair is very large.
I'm sorry. I just kicked Gerard.
No, it's okay.
Come at me,
He's
motherfucker.
really
It's called
talking a lot of
passive
shit.
aggressiveness.
Yeah.
I just kicked him in his shins.
Yeah.
Hope that doesn't hurt
That's
bears.
what we do. We invite people here to hurt them.
Yeah.
That's what.
Anyway, so as I was saying, somebody who's just not that good at comedy, like Andrew McCaffrey, like what would you say to them, like if they were looking for advice and needed a little bit of help whenever they got off stage?
No, I'm glad you asked. Usually what I say is be reasonable about where you are in your in comedy. I think one of the things that served me really well is being aware of how much Nathaniel quit giggling.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how fun it's gonna be in a minute.
I need to be humbled. It's been a while since I've been humbled.
I was about to be like, it's gonna be more than a humbling.
Sorry. I'm very much in tune with what you're saying, Gerard.
I control the editing. I'll make it sound fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, I think the big things is be aware of where you're at in your. I think one of the things that helps me is knowing that it's okay to you're not where you want to be at all.
Yeah.
I'm probably at I've probably gotten a few percent better, but I'm so far away from where I would like to be. And I think one of the best things is it opens you up to critiques, right? Like, how do you actually want to get better? Do you want someone to tell you the truth and be like, that was not your best? Or what are you doing up there?
Yeah.
Like, where are you trying to go with that?
Well, you mentioned earlier too certain comics that are good about that, about giving you honest advice. I think that's super helpful. So you would just pass that on.
Yeah, I would want to be able to do that to somebody else, but it's also weird because it's learning the balance of that person actually doesn't want you to tell them when they're not hitting their mark. So just be reasonable with yourself about where you're at. Eat the mic. That was something I didn't know to do a lot. Justin actually was the one that God, you're funny when people hear you.
He's really familiar with eating mic-shaped things. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Let's go ahead.
Wow.
I was about to be like, man, that knife's getting closer and
I
closer.
cannot wait for next week's episode to air.
Oh, he talked shit about me on the episode.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Andrew is just collateral damage because I didn't want to just focus on Justin.
You know what's going to be great?
You thought that was bad.
Is Michael doesn't know that I actually DoorDashed an order. So I'm actually about to be eating while he's getting his ass kicked.
If you all hear a knock, that's Gerard's Chipotle that just arrived.
I don't like Chipotle. Chipotle's disgusting.
Sorry, you're right. That was profiling. That's my bad.
Yeah, I was about to be like, I know.
It could very well be a poke bowl.
Yeah, I know. That's actually more offensive.
You're right. I'm twice now. I've done.
Yeah,
There's a poke bowl place up the street. It just
live
came to
salmon is what I'm looking for. Slathered in bear honey.
Do you all have any jars of honey that are spilled down the side of the jar?
How have do you feel about seedless organic berries?
Have you seen the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie?
I actually have. It was in theaters for one day.
10 out of 10.
Was it Central Cinema? That feels like something they'd show.
No, it was Regal. The Regal actually had it. They did a release.
And you saw it?
Yeah. I like a lot of
No, it's the worst movie in the world.
Yeah, it's a horrible movie.
It's actually it's
right up my
offensively
alley.
bad, but I loved it.
Yeah, it's
that
right
would
up
make
my
me
alley.
love it. Yeah,
it is like it kind of pissed me off because it was trying to be serious at times. You know what I mean? It was taking itself seriously, but
you
was
watch
also,
it and you appreciate it for like how bad it is.
Yeah, like
that's how I feel when I watch the clips that you post. If you do,
are we allowed to spoiler? Or can we just ruin this for you, Nathaniel? Or are you gonna watch this movie?
The Winnie the Pooh movie?
I'm never gonna watch it.
The best thing is they're mad because they had to eat Eeyore.
That's
what gets them mad.
That's not even a spoiler. This is the first 5 minutes of the movie.
That's a
It's still a spoiler.
Yeah, if you don't know what's happening,
yeah.
and I was about to be.
It wasn't in the trailer.
Christopher Robin goes to college and he quits bringing them food, and so they kill and eat Eeyore.
Jesus Christ! Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I gotta watch it.
And then they just become like, you know what?
Feral.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's just like,
I do like it.
yeah, Christopher, why don't you try coming back? See what happens. It's
and then he
like,
does.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah, Winnie goes off.
2
So
hour
this is a
movie,
plug. If you're listening to this, watch
Blood and Honey.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was our episode. So check back next week for me to get murdered.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So
Gerard, why don't you? I mean, obviously you've got a move coming up, which we
Yeah.
mentioned. Do you have anything that you want to plug confidently now after the move, or
any
socials?
shows, social medias, anything?
Yeah. I need to post more, obviously. I really need to get on that. But Instagram, y'all can follow me, manager Gerard Knox. That's an Angels in the Outfield reference that nobody has ever gotten, by the way. So I'm just using this time right now to like finally get it out there.
Sure.
Or at Gerard Butler. You
No,
can also
no,
find him there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'll look
him.
a little different, but
Yeah, exactly. You look like a penguin that dances.
Photoshop.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm just going to be trying to really get established out in Madison in their comedy scene.
Yeah.
And
so if by some fucking miracle you're listening to this from Madison, Wisconsin, go see our friend Gerard. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hey, well, I appreciate y'all having me.
Of course. Before we go, we have I am Michael Rose Comedy on Instagram. I have a couple clips there that I did post recently. Feel free to check them out. Talkin Bits Pod on Instagram and YouTube now. Boom.
Yes. Yeah. So go to @TalkinBits. It's actually the full name @TalkinBits Podcast. If you type that into the search bar on Google, it brings you right to us. This will be our, I guess, third video episode that's going to be on there now. So if you're listening and you've been listening for a long time, we love it. Please continue to listen. But it would really help us out too if you go check us out on YouTube
and subscribe.
All that.
Tell
shit.
your friends. Do the stuff.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. Did the
Smash
kids still say
that like button and
Smash
click
like,
the
subscribe,
bell.
What is this? I don't like that character you're doing.
Yeah, I don't
That's
like
terrible.
it.
Yeah,
I
yours
want
was more
Yeah.
offensive. Mine was, I had good.
I was making fun of.
Yeah, you were
every-
making fun of him. I was trying to help you.
Yeah.
No, I'm my
NLB
Instagram
_
NLB. Yeah.
423.
Appreciate it. That's it.
Yep.
I also have a link tree available in my bio now. I made an announcement last week on the show about Don't Tell, where we have our first venue picked out. We have our first date coming up for release pretty soon. So that's in the works. Everything will be linked in my bio on Instagram too. So
Cool.
check that shit out.
We love you all.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
See it.